Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and today's video is the Doctor Strange Avengers Doomsday Theory. Now, this is just a theory based on the four teaser trailers that the Russo brothers have said that these are not just teaser trailers, they're clues to what? To what is the question? And then obviously, I'm going to base this theory off those four teaser trailers, but I'm also basing off this theory off the two Avengers movies, which again was directed by the Russo brothers. They directed all four of them basically, but the two Avenger movies that I'm talking about is Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And I'm also basing off this theory for the Fantastic Four First Step, Deadpool Wolverine, Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness, and of course, Loki Season 1 and Season 2. So there will be some spoilers, a lot of spoilers, because I'm going to talk about what happens in the movie and scene by scene, because this is how I can present my theory that those 4 teaser trailers that we were introduced to are the things that Doctor Strange seen when he was looking into the future. So before we start, again, this is a spoiler. If you have not seen any of those movies or Disney Plus series shows, please watch them and let me know what you think about this theory in the comments below. So again, there's a lot of spoilers. And before we start, if you guys can do one thing for me, guys, could you hit the thumbs up button, aka the like button? That would help my YouTube channel out, and I truly appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now we know the four teaser trailers are Steve Rogers, Thor, the X-Men, and the Wakandans meeting Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, from the Fantastic Four movie of last year, Fantastic Four First Step. And I just want to make that one clear because this is a multiverse stories. There's a lot of rumors that past actors and actresses are going to be appearing in this film or even in Avengers Secret Wars. And of course, the Fantastic Four has at least one, two, at least three or four Fantastic Four movies. And of course, the X-Men, and of course, just so much more, right? Even Spider-Man, right? So there's a lot of like here they may or may not show up things, but this one's mostly basically on the Doctor Strange theory that these four teaser trailers again is what he saw. So and the reason why I bring that up, when did he look into the future? Well, if you've seen the movie Avengers Infinity War, there's a scene where Doctor Strange is looking into the future because he's trying to find a way how to defeat Thanos from collecting all the Infinity Wars, and he said a big number, and basically they only had one shot. And obviously, Infinity War, Thanos succeeded, but when you get to Avengers Endgame, the Avengers defeated Thanos twice. You know, obviously Thor cut off his head, but that was when Thanos was just resting in a place where he was just done. He completed his mission, I should say, sorry. And then the second time they defeat Thanos in Avengers Endgame is when a Nebula from the past found out that Nebula herself from the future was trying to stop Thanos's uh mission of snapping his fingers with all the Infinity Stones. So, and obviously he came to that future to stop them, and obviously the Avengers defeated Thanos, but Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, had to make the ultimate sacrifice. That's why he's no longer living in the MCU. He died. He died. So let's break this down. Now, obviously, in real life, that probably wasn't the original plan. I know Kang the Conqueror, who was played by Jonathan Majors, was the plan, but without really going into that part, there was some drama which it led them to go from Kang the Conqueror to Doctor Doom. I mean, the Avengers Doomsday was originally called Kang the Dynasty, and that didn't work out so well. And so, again, with that problem with Jonathan Major, that's not what I really want to talk about, but I do want to talk about the fact that they changed it for that reason to Victor Von Doom. And again, the Russo brothers is directing the Avengers Doomsday movie. And they said, now this is an important part too in this theory, that the reason why I can see these teaser trailers is the thing that Doctor Strange saw, because this is a continuation. They said the Russo brothers says that Avengers Doomsday is just going to continue on from what they where they left off in Avengers Endgame. So what happened at the end of the movie of Avengers Endgame? Well, the first thing was Captain America, Steve Rogers, he retired from being Captain America and he gave the shield to Sam Wilson, who's played by Anthony Mack, who's the new Captain America. And he stayed in the timeline after he put all the Infinity Stones. He decided to stay in the past to be with Peggy Carter, the woman that he's always been in love with since the first Captain America movie. And in that teaser trailer, they obviously have a family. They have a child. Maybe they have more than one child. You know, you don't know. They just showed one child, which is a baby, but that doesn't mean there ain't two other more kids. So we don't know about that either. But we do know it's confirmed that Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter got married and had a family. And that may be a bad thing for the MCU, because maybe Doctor Strange saw so much and he never talked. And what one important thing is, Doctor Strange said in the Avengers Endgame, and he said this in Infinity War, that he cannot say what it is, because if he tells them, that may change the future. You know, it's a ripple effect. There's rules to do and not to do when it comes to time traveling and, of course, multiverse traveling, because we know that in Loki season 1 and season 2, obviously from the Avengers Infinity Endgame, Loki grabs the Power Stone and he wasn't supposed to do that. But the only reason why he got the Power Stone, because in Avengers Endgame, Ant-Man tried to went back in time after where they shot the movie The First Avengers, and he went to grab the Power Stone, and that didn't work out. And Loki grabbed it, disappeared, but he got arrested by the TVA. Now, that's the second thing that could be a ripple effect, basically. And when you make these choices in the past, when you time travel in the past in the MCU, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. And obviously, the things that we're witnessing in these teaser trailers, the bad thing, the bad choice, the wrong choice, and now the bad things have to happen to these reunited Avenger Marvel characters that are going to reunite in this film. With that being said, we also know that in Avengers Endgame, that when everybody went back in time, the Bruce Banner went to find the ancient one, is the woman who from the Doctor Strange movie, the first film, who trained him to be a sorcerer, told Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, that if you take this time stone, you're going to cause another timeline, which that would affect her past. And that puts her in another future that wasn't supposed to be there. And that could be a good thing and a bad thing. Now we know when it's a bad thing, the TVA has to reset that, but He Who Remains, aka King the Conqueror, created a device to reset that whole universe or pretty much destroy that whole universe because we learn in Deadpool and Wolverine that an anchor being is the main anchor. So for Deadpool, that was Wolverine, but it was the Wolverine from the movie Logan was the anchor being. Now he just died from protecting X-23 and some younger mutants from the government, but he was aging, he was getting older. His bones, which is made out of vibranium, or turn into vibranium, which is the material that the Captain America shield is made out of, and the materials that Black Panther and the Wakandans use as technology and suit was injected into Logan's bones. That's his origin story. But in Logan, the whole point of that was he was getting like their version of lead poison. It was killing him. And so he died, but because of that, that means Deadpool's universe, according to this Mobius from the Deadpool Wolverine, claimed that that means his universe was going to collapse, Deadpool's universe. And that's why he went out to find a variant version of Wolverine. And we know that works because it worked. The one that Deadpool found kept his universe in place, intact. So we know that's a true thing. So the theory is basically Doctor Strange is the anchor being for Earth 616. And if you think about it, Loki season 1 and season 2 honestly is really connected to Spider-Man No Way Home. It's definitely connected to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness because again, in theory, I believe that Doctor Strange, while he was trying to figure out how to defeat Thanos the first round in Avengers Infinity War, which again they all failed, he couldn't say it, but I think he went so deep in the future, he saw things that he could not speak of. And these were the things. And here's how I know that could be a thing because we know Wanda in Avengers Infinity War witness Vision get brought back to life. Now, Wanda the first time destroyed the Soul Stone that was on Vision's forehead, which that means once you destroy that Soul Stone, Vision was going to pretty much die. And he did, and she made that sacrifice like a superhero. But what did Thanos do? As soon as he had that time stone, he pretty much run it back. He just ran it back and brought back Vision literally back to life just to rip the soul stone out his forehead and then killed him again. So because Thanos showed that, that inspired Wanda from the WandaVision Disney Plus series all the way to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. She was destined to get her two boys back and her man back, Vision. And she messed with dark magic. And dark magic and science in the MCU are the same thing. You got Quantumania. That's why they have Ant-Man Quantumania. You can go through the past to the future scientifically or through magic. And we learned that in Agatha all along as well. And so if you think about it, Doctor Strange could be the anchor being. Now, what does that mean for Avengers Doomsday movie? Well, we got to go to the comic books. If you want to know what could be a possibility or an idea of the theme of Avengers Doomsday or any comic book that's turned into a live action, got to read the books, the comic books, the materials. So there's a comic book called Secret Wars by Jonathan Hidman, and I hope I said his last name right. This is a story where Doctor Doom becomes to God Emperor Doom, which he basically absorbs the power of a celestial, which they talk about celestials in the movie by Marvel Studios, The Internals. And we know from that movie and Captain America Brave New World that there is a dead celestial in the ocean, and all you see is the head and the hands doing this, right? So obviously in Earth 616 there's no Doctor Doom as of now. But in some universe, Doctor Doom steals the power of a celestial, makes it his own, and he becomes a ruler. Well, in this comic book, Doctor Strange becomes Sheriff Strange, aka his Doctor Doom's right hand man, and he can just, you know, instead of sending somebody to prison or locking them up, they just send them to the void, into a universe where they're just trapped forever. If you pretty much upset Doctor Doom's and don't follow his rules. So it is a thing. Now, here's a deeper reason why I can see Doctor Strange being the anchor being for Earth 616 of the MCU is because of that story that I just said based off that comic book, is the fact that if Doctor Doom finds a way to destroy Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, that he can destroy Earth 616 and create a whole new universe, a whole new Earth where he is the ruler, he's the president, he's the dictator, he's the everything, he's the king, he's the god of this Earth, and he can look like a hero. Now, the only way he can do that, because we know there's different variants of Doctor Dooms now. Now, if you remember the older Fantastic Fours in the early 2000s, where Chris Evans was the Human Torch and Jessica Alba was Miss Invisible, you know that they may or may not show up. Now, people are like, well, I know in Deadpool and Wolverine, Johnny Storm, which was played by Chris Evans, he died, but that's one variant. There could be another variant where Chris Evans plays Johnny Storm again, because Charles Xavier has been killed at least in the MCU. I would say, I believe twice. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and then I believe the movie Logan counts as well, because he did die in that movie as well. So that could be a thing, but it might not. It might not. I don't know if the Logan movie counts as much as I believe, but they did mention the movie Logan and saying again that's why Deadpool had to find another variant version of Wolverine. So his multiverse, his Earth, which would be the X-Men's Earth 10005, that'd be his multiverse. So that Deadpool that's played by Ryan Reynolds. They exist in that universe, and so if that counts, I don't know, but I don't know if it officially counts in that way as far as the Russo brothers views it. But he technically died twice, and I'm just saying that because they mention again the way the plot of Deadpool Wolverine was portrayed, and the reason why he needed to find another Wolverine was because the movie Logan happened. That's why I think that. Now, obviously, you have two different universes of the X-Men where it's a different universe, but not a different universe. There's the past and then there's the future, which they're just older X-Men characters. They're older. But if you watch like First Class, they're younger. So I don't know which one is which. We know we're getting the two OGs who play Charles Xavier and Magneto, but I don't know about the one. I know based on the the teaser trailer for the Avengers Doomsday, we see Cyclops, and this is the actor who plays Cyclops in the First Class movie, X-Men First Class. So we know we're getting a little, there is a possibility we're getting a little bit of both the OGs and then the younger version and the older version of those particular characters. So that one's going to be a little bit confusing, but I believe that they'll smooth that out in the Avengers Doomsday. Now, in the Doctor Strange multiverse, madness is another reason why I believe Doctor Strange is the anchor being for Earth 616 is when he was captured by the Illuminati, which is Reed Richard, which this one was played by John Kronsky, and I hope I said his last name right. And we had Peggy Carter, Charles Xavier, we had Black Bolt, and we had Rambo's mom as Captain Marvel. Instead of Brie Larson, it was Rambo's mother as Captain Marvel. And then there was the sixth one, which it was an empty seat, but we learned that that was the Doctor Strange in their universe, which would be Earth 838. That's the Illuminati, said that their version of Doctor Strange defeated Thanos by using dark magic. And we know Wanda is using dark magic to get her two sons back and to create that. And I also believe, too, that Wanda and Doctor Doom are going to be teaming up and maybe fall in love and create a love relationship between each other to rule a new universe where she has her two at least her boys in her life, and then she'll be married to Victor Von Doom, who would be the Emperor God Doctor Doom. So that's another thing too. So I believe that these two characters, because I think Wanda is going to get revenge on Stephen Strange from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That's why, in theory, I believe that he could be the anchor being of Earth 616. So that's just my theory, y'all. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think Doctor Strange is the anchor being Earth 616? And what do you think is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday? Let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys. And